So here's another song. This is my composition. I'm sharing my original songs today. And this is another message for you to just close your eyes and remember. Sometimes this world can break your spirit, that's for sure. Comparisons and doubt will leave you feeling insecure. But you can't hide what you are inside. You are beautiful, golden like the sun. Shine your light here on everyone. You illuminate the night like a morning star, and I see you as you truly are. You are beautiful. You are beautiful. Ooh, beautiful. You're a miracle. Please listen to my words and try them on for size. The impact that you make, you'll never fully realize, and you can't hide all you are inside. You are beautiful, golden like the sun. Shine your light here on everyone. You illuminate the night like a morning star, and I see you as you truly are. You are beautiful. Beautiful. You are beautiful. You can't hide all you are inside. Yeah, you're beautiful. Ooh, beautiful. Oh, thank you.
Good morning, beloved ones. Turn to someone and tell them, you are beautiful. You are beautiful. You are beautiful. I love that song that Claudia reminded us with, that, regardless of what's going on inside, regardless of what's happening or how we're showing up, we are beautiful. We are beautiful in the eyes and in the sight of the divine. We were created in beauty and in love. There are times, however, when we don't always feel that. We may not be showing up as our very best. And maybe there might even be some people who've pointed that out to you. And when that happens, have you ever found yourself saying to them, well, that's just the way I am, right? Well, that's just the way I am. And it's usually in defense of some position, some action, or some expression that we are exhibiting. That's just the way I am. And we might get a little neck roll with it. All right? Yeah, that's how I show up. Right? But have you ever really asked yourself the question, well, why am I the way that I am? Why am I the way that I am? We've all heard of the concept or the debate between nature versus nurture. Everybody's familiar with that concept, correct? Yeah, nature versus nurture. We say that somehow that the way that we are is due to our nature, meaning our basic DNA, our construction, perhaps maybe even our personality that we came into this world with. Because even when you look at a newborn and there may be twins or triplets, they each have something that's distinctly them, right? So we say, oh, yes, this is my nature. Nature meaning it is a part of my DNA, my innate sense of being and sense of self and personality. Or we might be able to say, well, my sense of who I am comes from my nurturing, comes from my experiences in life, my life experiences. It comes from my environment, from my culture, from my society, right? Something that comes from the without that also influences how I am and how I show up. Now, I like to think it's a little bit of both. Doesn't have to be in one camp or the other. It's a little bit of both. And there's some things that work with both. There's some things that work with holding ourselves accountable to our nature. And I'm not talking about our spiritual nature. That's something different. I'm talking about this human definition of nature, right? Your DNA. But there's something a little bit about both that can be positive and a little troubling. And here's what I find troubling about this whole concept of nature, this whole aspect of nature, especially if it is somehow connected to our DNA, right? Because what that says to me, if that's the case, if my nature is due solely to, and it's never solely, but let's say it's due a large part to my nature, well, my DNA, well, you really can't change what? You can't change your DNA. So that says to me, if we are genetically wired for some things, then where does this possibility, where does it leave room for growth and transformation and change of our being from, or existing outside of the box that we were born in, if that can't be changed? Other than that, maybe even one's personality, which some feel comes under the nature, and some other people say, no, your personality is due to your nurturance. And I think, again, it may be both. Because I think your personality can be altered by your life experiences, especially if they came from an early expression. So what happens is, if the DNA can't be changed, and maybe aspects of my personality, then where am I in my growth and transformation? What does that say? So I'm a little bit uncomfortable with that understanding or that definition. Now, I think that, we can change certain aspects of ourselves, even our personality, albeit it's going to take a lot of work, right? A lot of work on our part, as well as, the influences. But here's what I say. When we're trying to work even with the personality and even with the DNA, don't count God out. Because God can transcend even your DNA. If that, science may say, well, I don't know if that's possible. Well, here's how I think of DNA in relationship to God is that the DNA on God's perspective means do not acknowledge. God does not acknowledge your innate limitations. God does not acknowledge the personality you were born with. God does not acknowledge some of the things that are predisposed in your physical being even. Right? That science says, well, if you have this particular gene, you're going to be predisposed to this particular disease. God is beyond that. DNA, do not acknowledge. God is greater than that. And when God does transcend those things, science says, well, it's an anomaly. Right? Or it's something an anomaly is something that happens that shouldn't happen. Or maybe it's a miracle. Well, God is in the anomaly business and the miracle business. So even though we might have come in with a particular predisposition to be a certain way, God is greater than that. So, but we understand what this debate is trying to bring out. Nature versus nurture. Now, here's the thing about nurture, the nurture aspect. Because while we may not have, nurture deals with your life experiences, your environment, your culture, your familiar settings, your families, your place, and your siblings, mother, all of that. But while we may not have something through the nurturing aspect, which is encoded in our DNA, we may have gotten some things programmed by our environment and our experiences early on in life, that before we had a chance to have the conscious awareness to say yay or nay to something, right? Before we could figure out the rational mind, the reasoning, whether I'm going to allow this thought or this experience into my consciousness. An infant may not have that choice. So even with the nurturing aspect, we may not have been encoded, but we may be programmed. So much so that we aren't even aware that it's simply a program that is running in our lives today. And we just think that it simply is the way that I am, when it may be a program that is running. Now, a program could be a pattern of behavior that was repeated, or it could be thoughts and feelings that were unchecked and over time entered into the subconscious mind. Because they weren't checked, they weren't filtered out, there was nothing to say yay, that's good, bad, want it, don't want it, went in. And over time moved into the subconscious mind. And once in the subconscious area of our lives, it begins to express automatically, right, without conscious forethought, right? Sometimes we're acting subconscious, from the subconscious. Now, programs, and we have many of them, we have a lot. Programs are running constantly in our heads. And therefore, they're also constantly running our lives, or certain aspects of our lives. They're running certain actions that we experience, even when we believe that we are making conscious choices. We think, I'm making a conscious choice. You're making a programmed choice. But you're not even aware of it. And you could be making a programmed thought, but you think that somehow you're conscious about it, but you could be totally unconscious about what is in your subconscious. Do you hear me? Hear that? You could be unconscious about what is in your subconscious. And there is a difference between the two. Because when something is in your subconscious mind, you could have an opportunity to work on it. You know, when it comes up or whatever, you know that, okay, because the subconscious is a storehouse of memory. You could go back there and pull up a childhood memory or something and say, you know what, I know where this came from. It's in my subconscious, but it's from this experience or this memory. And you could work on it and you could try to heal it. But when you are unconscious, you are clueless. You're clueless as to what is even needed to be healed in you because you're not conscious of it, right? The same stuff keeps happening and you don't know why. It's all a mystery to you or some cruel act of the universe. Why does the universe keep bringing this to me? Why am I the only one that has this experience over and over? Well, it could also, I think, be a signal for you to wake up. It's an alarm of some sort. When it keeps coming, you see, it's coming for you to become conscious of it. It's coming to wake you up, to wake your life up, to wake up those programs and the conditioning that you don't even recognize you have been conditioned. Somebody will say, I got to see what condition my condition is in. You don't even know you have a condition. So it could be a call for you that it keeps coming to wake up and to help you see where you are stuck in an unfulfilled life, where you are stuck either in conflict and suffering, where you are stuck or where you're not achieving or accessing the great possibilities that are available to you because some errant program is running in your mind and you're unaware of it. Now, we've all experienced this. And maybe we go to therapy. Maybe we come and talk to a minister, whatever, our friends. But here's what I say. The only thing that can cure unconsciousness is to become conscious. Conscious that you have been unconscious. Now, that's a tricky one. Because you might say, well, now, how in the world do I do that? How do I become conscious of the things that I'm unconscious about? Well, there's some signs along the way. Life always gives us signs, right? There's always something that's speaking. I teased Brother James over here, with his appendix thing. I said, but you had some signs, didn't you? You didn't just wake up and have that pain one day. You had something told you beforehand that something was going on before the appendix decided to give you the blah, blah. Right? We have all kinds of signs, but we ignore them. We don't pay attention to them until they are so deep, so in front that we cannot help but see them. So the thing is, how do we begin to recognize some signs? There's some activities that we can practice. One is to begin to notice any patterns in your behavior or your thoughts. Patterns in your behavior and in your thoughts. So now you're going to start looking for patterns, okay, in your behavior and in your thoughts. Especially the ones that don't seem to be serving you well. The situations and the experiences that somehow are causing you pain, or they cause you some kind of conflict, or you find yourself suffering inside, whether it's emotionally, or you have troubled relationships, or your interactions with people seem to always go awry. These are signs for you. Okay? Don't just say this is the way life is. No, this is a sign that something needs your attention. So you need to ask, why is this happening? What is it that keeps happening? And how many times have I been in the same predicament or the same situation? So the patterns signal where a program may be running. You understand? If you have a pattern, it's your signal that a program is running. Now, again, a program could be a thought or energy that was repeated, and you just took it in and it's unchecked or whatever, but now it's become a program. It's become something that runs automatically, and it runs you as well. So you look for the patterns. because you know that something's happening. So you begin to notice it. You begin to ask, where is this coming from? You begin to start to peel back the layers, and you start shining a little light on your own unconsciousness, your own beliefs, your own thoughts, feelings, patterns. Just start to put some light in there. All you have to do is start to see and look and notice. Because the moment you notice, guess what? You'll be able to see more. You remember when you want to buy a new car and you picked one out, you say, I think I'm going to get me a new Tesla. And what happens is all you start to see are what? Teslas. You notice them everywhere. Wow, here's a Tesla. Because whatever you begin, when you say, okay, I want to do something, whatever the universe begins to, you see it. It's always there. All the Teslas have been there. But you are now noticing them. You're beginning to see them because you've made it a priority. This is something you want. This is something you desire. You've called it forth into your conscious awareness, and now you see it. It's the same thing. You want to be able to see a pattern. Okay, I'm going to see this pattern. And once you start saying you're going to see the pattern, guess what? You're going to start seeing the pattern. It's going to show up and present itself. Once you start shining the light, you'll be able to see. So that's one of your clues that something's unconscious working. A program is running. The other clue that you might want to work with that tells you that you have some work to do is that if there is a charge around an issue. Now, a charge means it is a heightened reaction or to something. Or it could be that you are angered quickly. You know, I had one this morning that I was able to trace back, and I was like, wow. I found myself saying, and now where did that come? Why am I getting that? And I traced it back. Oh, okay, because it's affiliated with a pattern of perhaps unworthiness or my inability to ask for what it is that I want and need. So I have to get angry about it to ask for it and indignant about it, so I could convince myself that it's okay for me to ask. But I was able to see it in a second. As soon as that, my response, this is all a conversation happening in my head. I said, well, I'm going to say this. And then I thought, well, why would you say it with that kind of energy? Where was that energy coming from? And I recognized, because you don't think you're worthy to have what you're asking for, so you're getting upset about it early so you can defend it. I was like, wow, it's okay. I let the energy go, and I just said, I could just ask for what I need and want. It's okay. That quickly, I was able to see it, right? And I didn't have to go all the way back into the subconscious, but I was able to see that's a program that's running. It's been running in my head for a long time. And so now I have a goal with my own self. I'm trying to catch them so that I can heal them. So now I'm seeing it just as quickly as I had that emotion and thought the solution came to. It's like, wow, you don't have to go there. And it's like, oh, yeah, okay. It's good. So maybe it's a charge behind an issue, or you get angry quickly, or maybe you get overly emotional about something where others are like, wow, why are they getting so emotional about it? Or maybe you have some kind of strong energy around what's occurring. Maybe you feel triggered. You may have gotten triggered, and so you begin to respond without too much conscious forethought. So when those things happen, you can say, okay, maybe time to look at what's going on within you. When you get those. But what happens is the mind kicks in. Sometimes we say, no, I have a right to be indignant. Now, I could have taken that route, right? And just furthered my own programming and felt good about it. I have a right to feel this way. Or I could have done what I said, oh, wait a minute. That was too much energy behind that thought. Let me see what's behind the thought that I had. And what was behind the thought that I had was, oh, maybe you don't feel worthy. You're trying to convince yourself. See, so I said, okay, I got to watch that. Because the trick of the mind is so tricky. It's fascinating. The trick of the mind, however, sometimes, or as Eckhart Tolle calls it, the egoic mind, is to keep you unconscious. And what it'll do sometimes, it'll cause you to think that the problem is in someone else. See, they're the problem because they're not going to want to give, the problem is something outside of you. It's the actions of others. It's the circumstances of the situation. It's the condition that's, caused this to happen. And we'll go for all these different reasons. And all of them may be valid. But that has nothing to do with you. Because the point of it is in order for you to become conscious, you need to know why you are having the reaction you're having. Not that they shouldn't be saying that, doing that, or what. Fine, that may be true, but as Jesus said, what is that to you? You got to follow me. So, okay, let me see what's going on within me, because this is the thing. You can't wake up examining someone else's life. Right? That's like me trying to live my life through you, through your experiences. So when something goes wrong, when I want to go and say, well, this is why they're doing this, and this is why they're saying that to me, and this is why they're acting this way toward me, I'm trying to wake up looking at their life and their actions and their choices, and it has nothing to do with me. It's my stuff I need to look at. And if I want to wake up, I can't wake up by looking at your life. I'd like to. But I've discovered it's a futile effort. It doesn't seem to work. So what is your life telling you about yourself? Well, I've posed these questions to you off and on for a number of, and I'm going to keep on doing it because we have to keep on hearing it. Right? So what is your life telling you about yourself? What areas are in need of healing? What programs are running that are keeping you from your possibilities? What programs are keeping you from your possibilities? What is it that you have tried to change, but somehow it keeps challenging you with its presence in your life? What do you need to see, and what can you do? So here's some things. Other than, being aware, you're going to be aware and say to yourself, okay, I want to look at the charges. If I got a lot of energy, that's a program running. I need to stop it. I need to look at it, right? We said we're going to start to notice things more. The moment you make an effort to notice, you'll see it more. But here's some things you can also do. Now, this takes a little bravery. You can ask a good friend to tell you what they see in you. Now, not necessarily what they think about you, but what it is they see in you. Now, I'm going to say that this needs to be a good friend. Don't ask somebody that you got problems with and they don't like you and you don't like them. Because probably what you're going to get is going to be a little bit of their stuff as well. And even from the good friend, that you might get will be coming from their perspective, but ask them, well, what do you see in me? Not necessarily what you think about me, because remember the book that says what you think about me is none of my business. So I don't want to get caught up in all that, but if you're trying to bring something conscious and you can't see it, maybe others can see a certain tendency in you. You have to rely upon the goodness. You have to trust that this person has your good interest at heart, that they love you. The bottom line is they love you unconditionally, but they can see something in you. The other day, I was talking with a good friend, and I was having some challenge, and I was going through some emotional challenges, and I was discussing with them, what is happening, and so this friend said to me, they said, well, you have some anal retentive energy in you. Now, so when I heard that, when you hear, I went, now, we were on the telephone, so she could not see my response, but I was like, when I heard that, and then after that little click, and then I had to laugh about it, so I got tickled, and I started laughing, but then after the laugh, I started thinking about it. And I said, I'm not going to push that away. I said, okay. And so we began talking about it. And it's like, well, yeah, there are some things, some thoughts that I allow myself to have over and over, like a compulsion. I keep thinking the same thing, And yeah, that the retentive part, maybe there are times when I'm holding on too much. I can't seem to let that go. That comment, that feeling, or whatever. It seems that it's greater. The energy and the feeling feels bigger than me, and I can't seem to release it or let it go. That could be anal retentive energy. And so I began to listen, and I said, oh, you know what? And just being willing to, not think, well, what is she saying about me? At first I felt that little thing, but then I began to just say, okay, let's see where this might show up and how it might show up and what it might mean for me. And just the thought of that, the awareness that could be a program operating, released something in me. You know what I mean? That allowed me to look a little deeper without the accuser, because I trusted the person implicitly. And I know that they love me and we are good, solid friends. So I didn't, and then the person had admitted, and the reason I can say this is because I see that because I'm that way. So I recognize it, right? But the thing about it is, it's like, okay, so sometimes we have blind spots that others can see. And so that's a way for us to bring something that is unconscious to our conscious minds as well. We're going to notice it. We can notice if there's a charge or energy around an issue or pattern. We can ask those who we love and trust, what do you see in me? Now, again, it's not for the faint-hearted, so don't ask if you don't want to know. Because your friends will also they'll jump at the opportunity to tell you about yourself. But if you're ready for it, it's okay. And you can also then ask God. See, I believe that there are two things in asking God. You can go within and ask the witness self of yourself, because there's a part of you that knows everything about you. I call it the witness. Now, the witness is very loving. It's impartial. It does not judge. Its job is not to judge, analyze, categorize. It just knows. And if you ask the witness part of yourself, well, what is it that I need to see here? The witness will reveal it to you. So, if you ask the Holy Spirit to show up, it will show up. Because the Holy Spirit reveals, teaches, instructs, guides, shows you a way, the path, what's happening inside. Most of the time, we don't ask it for ourselves, but begin to ask. And you can ask God via the Holy Spirit or God directly, however you want to do that. What are my inner blocks? And ask God to reveal and to heal. Because some things only God can heal. You know what I mean? But at least we want to have the revelation, the awareness, the understanding of it. This is so powerful. Because just your being aware of something, engaging in a habit or a pattern can bring you freedom. Just being aware of it, just seeing it. You may not be able to stop it right away, but if you can see it, just like in that moment when I had that thought, I saw it. And then all of a sudden after I saw it, I said, oh, I don't have to go there. My energy, everything just got calm. So you might not be able to stop it, but you can see it. And as you begin to see it, trust me, it'll begin to dissipate. The energy won't, because you see, it's like the man behind the curtain, the little man in the Wizard of Oz, that loses all its power when you pull the curtain back. And you see, it's just a little something. It's no great big power for Oz, just a little something. And when you start peeling it back, you'll see it's just a little something. Nothing really great and big. But there's something about light, the power of light, the light of truth, the light of your truth, the light of your awareness that can bring healing and power and transformation, because light changes things. Light causes things to grow. The Bible says you shall know the truth, and the truth shall set you free. You shall know the truth, and the truth shall set you free. So if we're going to grow, and if we're going to transform, if we're going to change from a limiting expression to a limitless expression of the divine, then we're going to have to know the truth. We're going to have to know the truth about ourselves, and we're going to have to know the truth about God. And in knowing the truth about ourselves, yes, it means we must know all of those hidden parts of our personality that keep us from our possibilities. You got to know that. But when you go into knowing that, I loved Claudia's song. You must also know at the same time, when you begin to see and know those things that are keeping you, those programs and those flaws and those foibles that are keeping you from your possibilities, you must also know your magnificence. You have to also know your beauty. You have to also know your power. You have to also know that you are special and unique and divine and wonderful. You must know the good of yourself as well. All of it. Because if you know only the good and not the other, that's not complete. If you know only the other and not the good, that's not complete. We are whole beings. And when we can stop judging this other part that's showing up not the way we want to and start looking at why and heal it, then we're not going to heal it if we're judging it, if we're fearing it, if we're hiding it, if we're ignoring it, if we're denying it. It's not going to work. You said this is our time. This is our time to wake up. And in order for us to take the power of who we really are and shine this light into this world that needs every one of us sitting here, in order for us to do that, we must be our open, clear, authentic selves. How can I help heal the world if I can't heal myself? Right? How can I bring goodness and light and love and mercy and forgiveness and understanding and illumination if I can't give that to myself? So we start here. And we move out from within. And then we begin to know the power of God at work. When we know God then as a creative force, we begin to be free. You begin to be free. Free to be the possibilities. Because with God, all things are possible. So when you know that, you're free to be who you are and who God is through you. It's through the light, through the awareness. And here's what I wrote, and I said, I'm going to print this one up. It says, when the light of truth hits your unconscious patterns, freedom ensues. Change can occur, and the chains of unconsciousness are broken. You understand that? We're only feeling broken and chained and bound because we're binding ourselves with our unconsciousness. But when the light of truth hits your unconsciousness, freedom ensues and change can occur. And the chains of your unconsciousness are broken. And when there's nothing else to hold you back, you are free. You shall know the truth, and the truth shall set you free. Blessings and namaste. Blessings. Namaste. Blessings. Blessings.
That's right. Own it. Own it. So this next song came from the year 2008, and I don't know if you remember everything that was going on that year, but our economy took a downturn, and I found myself, like some of my neighbors and friends, getting caught up in the belief system of lack and limitation. Everywhere I looked, I saw friends losing their jobs, businesses that had been open for years, crumbling and falling apart. And I got caught up into this fear. And so on Sunday morning, our minister spoke directly to me, and she said, Claudia, the next time you feel yourself engaging those beliefs, say these words and say them with authority. Say, Jehovah Jireh. And I said, that sounds kind of Old Testament. I don't know what that means. I'm a New Thought kind of girl. And then she simply said, Jehovah Jireh, God will provide. And I took that home, and I started saying it, and this song bubbled up for me. When I find myself on shaky ground, when I lose the faith I thought I'd found, I think of this insurance policy, a promise made for all humanity. God is here, no need to fear, trust and know. I will align with the divine, get in the flow. Jehovah Jireh, God will provide. Jehovah Jireh, hey, yeah. God will provide. Sing with me. Jehovah Jireh, God will provide. Jehovah Jireh, God will provide. And as I move through every high and low, I hang on to the truth and won't let go. I understand I am not alone, and I know there is no earthly place where I cannot receive God's grace. With confidence I face the unknown. Jehovah Jireh, God will provide. 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 Could ever take it from me, and no drop on the stock market could ever take it from me, and no bad economy could ever take it from me. I said there's nothing in this world could ever take it from me. Jehovah Jireh, God will provide. Jehovah Jireh, God will provide. Jehovah Jireh, God will provide. Oh, Jehovah Jireh, God will provide.